As well as I'm going to ask Mr. Morin, would you please come up without your mustache? You'll notice in the program he has a mustache. You know, I met Mike some time ago. I think I was doing something for Channel 5 or something. I forgot what it was, but was such a wonderful individual. And he's been helping us back from the days of Sharon Sundberg, and when she was the president of the International Candlepin Bowling Association. And when we asked him to get on to the Hall of Fame committee, he was more than thrilled to do it. He's helping us write these programs. I only found one mistake, but that's okay. Did you? You didn't find it? Get back here. But Mike, it's with a lot of pleasure that I present to you this beautiful award. It's one that I'm sure you'll honor, and it's something that I feel that you well deserve. So I'll ask you to say a few words if you would.
Thank you, Ralph. Well, this one here. Thank you, Ralph. You didn't tell me that I'm not going into the Hall of Fame. When did that happen?
Keep it a secret.
Oh, okay. I'm glad that you mentioned Sharon Sundberg on a night that we're honoring Dan Murphy. Sharon is the woman who, along with her husband, Bob, ran and owned the Acton Bowlodrome, which is where I did my first Candlepin bowling after moving here in 1984, shocked out of my brains to see a game such as this. And so she was the one that brought me in. She was the first president of the ICBA. She asked me to be the recording secretary. And the way that I met her family is I went to work at WZOU Radio, which is now JAMA 94.5. And I was just so blown away by the game of Candlepins, and in some ways thought it was kind of goofy, if I can be honest. I grew up in Detroit, all 10 pins, as you know, and you get here, and you can't relate to that because most of you grew up here. So Candlepins is what it was from day one for you, but it wasn't for me. So I moved here, joined a league, and I started goofing on Candlepin bowling on the radio at WZOU, big station. So I bowled at Acton Bowlodrome. About 2 weeks in, somebody taps on my shoulder and says, "Are you the guy making fun of our game?" That would be me, but I make fun of things that I love. And by the way, I have great respect for it because I was nearly a 200 bowler in 10 pin, and I know that's never going to happen. And instantly I had respect for the game and the people that run it. And just a few other quick memories, because I do want to bring Dan Murphy into this once again. Sure. My daughter Liz, who is here at our front table with my family and my very best friends, she won the state of New Hampshire all events twice, back-to-back years, 91 and 92. And at the award ceremony, it was Dan Murphy who handed out the awards. So it's, you know, it kind of all ties together. Also, another great memory with Dan was doing the Learn How to Bowl video. And you've probably all heard the story. If you read my book, Lunch with Tommy and Stacia, you know that he was not the happiest man when he started our demonstration on scoring with 4 strikes in a row. I said, Dan, we have to take 2 of them out, because anybody that sees this is going to think that, wow, what an easy game. And of course, we all know that it's not. So his 167 string, we started over with a double, and then he went down. He ended up with 151, so he didn't shame himself. But I think he was a little bummed out that that happened. Other great memories, including 1987. Anybody here Al LaBelle, I know you were there for the Hall of Fame, right? It's so good to see you. Yes, didn't Tommy win the President's Award that year? So it's a great honor to be in the same discussion with the great Tommy Olsta, and it's so good to see you and all the work you do for the veterans in Wisconsin. But anyway, and Stacia was there, and Don Gillis was there. I mean, those are 3 of the Mount Rushmore people in our game, and it was great. I was only in the game about a year at that point, and I really enjoyed being a part of it and watching it. The book, Lunch with Tommy and Stacia, I've been in radio 53 years. I've done a lot of writing. That is the favorite thing I've ever done, because I got to sit down with many of you, get your stories. It started with my first interview with Tony Marie Baldinelli and a lot of other people. Another great memory going down and sitting with Tommy and Karen Olsta at their home next to their lanai in Florida. He pulls out a sack of fan mail that he got when he was on Channel 5. Those were the days, in a much more innocent time, that people would knit clothes for their young children. They actually had his home address. He showed me. I mean, I don't know how that ever happened. He was so loved, and I don't think he ever feared for his anonymity being broken. I see Paul Berger here tonight, another one of my favorite moments. You and Cookie, I got you two together because I wanted the story of your 500, and I wanted to know how Dave Richards felt about it. And it was a really nice meeting. We were at the Starbucks, I think, in Littleton. So, I mean, and the day with Charlie Jutras, that you were responsible, Ralph, for getting us together about a year before he passed. How could you do a book about Candlepin bowling and not get the story from Charlie himself? So I'm going to close by saying this. I moved here in 1984 with my daughter Liz, who was 4 at the time, and her mother. And I knew nobody, not a soul. But I joined a bowling league, and instantly I had 40 friends. And it's just the social aspect of the game, because I wasn't a great bowler. I was okay, but I wasn't there to set the world on fire, because that's what many of you have done, and I could never get to that point. But I slowly got to know the bowlers on my league, then the pros when I did TV, and even more of you when I wrote the book. And all of a sudden, I have a family. My family's back in Detroit and other parts around the country. So you became my family. And that meant, and still does mean, a lot to me. So I will just close by saying, this game has been a gift to me. But more importantly, you've also been a gift to me, because you've embraced me and you've been so good to me. And I thank you for this wonderful honor tonight. Thank you.
Very nice comment. Thank you. I'm going to leave that up here. Yeah.